It's pretty safe to say that Bucky Barnes has had quite a hard time in the MCU. You know, trying to figure out exactly who he is, considering his brain was scrambled for like 70 years plus by Hydra and then Russians. Yeah, as it turns out, there's some extensive damage on him that we're gonna go over in this video. People always seem to play up the fact that Steve Rogers is like 80 plus years old or 100 years old or however the math figures itself out in the MCU, and always seem to forget that Bucky Barnes is just as old. But I guess technically Bucky wasn't frozen the entire time, he was just kept in a comatose state by Russians for like 70 years while they experimented on his brain, woke him up multiple times. He was involved with some pretty big events throughout history, and of course was used as a big assassin throughout multiple, well, you know, the Kennedy scenario, right? Anyways, when we caught up with Bucky in The Winter Soldier, we saw just how extensive the brain damage was and how scrambled his memories were. He didn't even really recognize who Steve Rogers was, and by the end of that movie, things weren't exactly good for him, and in subsequent appearances, we saw that he tried to get his life and brain in order, but that didn't really work itself out to, well, to 100%. Now, recently, the Shuri files really go into the extent of the damage, if you will, and how his brain was essentially just one giant mess of things all over the place, none of it really arranged in any sort of a good or safe way, and essentially goes into telling us that Shuri looked at his brain, sort of went in there and gave it a little reboot, if you will, because of what Hydra did, scrambling with the numbers and activation codes and everything, really sort of set the character in a different mentality than most people that went through the same process. Because as we saw, there was other Winter Soldiers. Now also, it's suggested that not everything could be fixed and there's still some leftover that could show up at some point, which makes me think that they're hinting towards maybe reactivating the Winter Soldier, or somehow him having a hidden protocol in him that he's not aware of, that nobody's aware of, that could be hidden deep within him. And maybe this will play into the upcoming Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Maybe they'll play into his past a little bit more and what exactly they have in mind for him. Because as we've seen throughout real history, this whole hidden agent and getting ready to be activated is a real thing, and playing it up during the Cold War especially, and having some ties to that, could be really beneficial to explore the back history and the future of Bucky. And I'm interested to see how exactly they're going to proceed with this, because there's elements there that could really flesh out the character more and sort of go into the little details that make him who he is today. Hopefully they'll touch upon them, but I guess we just gotta wait and see.